Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be learning how to change our oil. It's a pretty easy thing to do, and you should really learn how to do it yourself because it'll save you money in the long run. And it's just nice to have that sense of competency in mechanical skills. So the first thing you'll need to know is what type of oil your car takes and what type of oil filter your car needs. So for the type of oil, it's real easy to find out. You can look in your owner's manual, or even easier, pop the hood of your car and it'll be on the oil cap right there, and that'll tell you what type of oil you need. And for the oil filter, that's also extremely easy. You can find it at Walmart itself. You could ask them at the front desk, or you could go to Advanced Auto Parts or any of your standard auto parts stores. You could say, hey, I got a 2017 Kia Forte or 2011 Honda Civic. What type of oil filter do I need? And they'll tell you, they'll bring it right up and give it to you. So up next is the tools and what you'll need for this. It's pretty simple. You're gonna need some ramps or jacks. I got ramps for mine. If you are using ramps or jacks, make sure you inspect them before you do it. Inspect them for cracks or nicks or like anything that looks like it could compromise the integrity of whatever you're using, because you are trusting it with your life. Up next is a ratchet, or in your case, you could just use literally a $2 adjustable wrench, but I have a ratchet for mine, just a setup that I've had for a while, so I'm gonna be using that. You're gonna need an oil pan and maybe a rag or two. I got a rag right there and an oil pan. Then you're gonna need the actual oil itself and the oil filter. All right, so let's get started. So step one, after you have gotten your oil and all your tools and everything, is obviously to jack the car up or drive it on some ramps. So I got ramps in my case, so I'm gonna do that. So getting your car up on ramps can be pretty intimidating the first time you do it. Just take it slow. If you need someone out there to help you like look and tell you to stop, have someone out there. But once you do it for a couple times, it's pretty easy. And once you actually get on top of the ramps, make sure that you put it in park, obviously, and you pull this emergency handbrake. So once you're underneath your car, get an oil drain pan and find your drain plug. This is what mine looks like. Yours should look pretty similar. And it's not that difficult to locate. I know it's a pretty crappy angle right now because my car is so low to the ground I can't really pan out and show you guys the entire exterior of the underside of the car, but this will have to do for now. So just find it. It's not that difficult to find. It should look pretty similar to mine. If you don't know where it is, you could always Google, you know, whatever your car make and model is, where's the oil drain plug, and that should easily come up, or it can easily be in your owner's manual if you want to search it up that way. So I got my ratchet out right now. I'm gonna put it on the oil drain plug, and I'm just gonna loosen it. Oops. So I've loosened my oil nut. Take this off. You know, just make sure you loosen it with the ratchet first, and then it shouldn't like drip out, spurt out or anything, because mine's already loose, as you can see. You can easily just twist it, and once you get near the end, you're gonna have to pull it out and pull it away pretty quick. So I'm gonna grab a rag real quick, just in case this gets all over my arm and hand and stuff. But I'm gonna start taking it off very slowly, and then once you get towards the end, you're gonna wanna pull it out and away from the oil drain pan. Comes out like that. Still got all over my hand, as you can see, and it is pretty warm. It's not burning hot, but it's warm. But it doesn't really matter if you get oil all over you at this stage, because the next stage is the oil filter, which you will get oil all over and down your arm with that. It's pretty difficult not to, depending on where your car is and the angle of the oil filter. But for now, just set this aside. You can dry it off. Try not to cause an environmental disaster or anything. So now for the next step, I usually wait for this to fully finish dripping, wipe it off as much as I can, and then I pour this into my container that's going to be holding the oil. In this case, it's going to be an old oil canister that I got like 6 months ago during my last oil change, and I'm going to just pour all this in there. This is the old oil, and the reason why I'm doing that is so I can have it for a drip pan for my oil filter, which is going to be removed. Doesn't matter how much oil comes out of here, there's always going to be another like half a quart to a quart of oil in your actual oil filter that's going to drip all over your arm and onto the drip pan. So it is important to pour this out so you don't make a bigger mess than you need to, and you know, avoid getting it all over the ground. So up next is the oil filter, and the oil filter is also pretty easy to take off if you get a good grip on it. Unfortunately, the Kia Forte did a really shitty job putting this oil filter on in a good spot, so it's kind of a pain in the ass to get off. So unfortunately, I didn't get it on camera. I tightened it way too tight last time when I put it back on, so I was having some trouble getting it off, so I just paused the video and I went back inside and got a piece of rubber just for extra grip. If you have rubber gloves or latex gloves, it'll add that grip for you. Unfortunately, I didn't, so I just grabbed a random piece of rubber that I had in my house and got it on there for extra torque. And there's the old filter just sitting upside down in the oil can, just completely draining out. So now that you got your old oil filter out, you want to grab your new oil filter, and with this new oil filter, what you want to do is you want to grab some old oil, get on your finger like that, and just put it around the seal a few times. This will create a better seal and make it so oil won't leak out when you start driving. You can get a little bit tighter on there. So now it's the most important time in your oil change job. That's to put the oil filter back on and the oil drain plug back on. This is very important because if you don't do this, you're obviously going to still be leaking out oil when you put the new oil back in, and your 4 or 5 or whatever quarts of oil it is just going to pour right out of your oil tank. So you don't want that to happen. So it's pretty simple. You just go where you took the oil drain plug off and twist it back on there and torque it down with your ratchet or your wrench. Just make sure you torque it down enough so it doesn't come off while you're driving. Remember, while you drive, your car vibrates and shakes and bounces up and down and moves around, so you will need to torque it down a little bit, but don't over torque it. Just make sure it's on there nice and snug. Just want to get a little pull and it should be good to go. So once you got the oil drain plug on, you want to put your oil filter on. You should lube it up already with your old oil, and you find the oil filter hole, put it on there, and you just twist it on just like that. It's pretty easy, and tighten it down. It should just be hand tight. If you do have a tool for this, like a strap wrench, or I think there's specific tools for oil filters, you know, you could use those, but it's not necessary. You just gotta hand tighten it down, and if you don't do it too tight, it should just pop off with your hand when you take it off next time. But other than that, you should be pretty much done by now. You just gotta pour the new oil into your car, which is very easy, and I'll show you guys how to do that right now. So after you double check to make sure that your oil filter and oil drain plug is on, now what you gotta do is pour the new oil into your vehicle. It's pretty simple. So you just, first things first, you take this off. It should already be off if you were letting it cool off. I took mine off to make it cool a little bit faster. Set that off to the side on a rag or something, and then what you want to do next is take this out and then clean it off on a rag. What this long stick is, if you don't know, is it tests how much oil is in your vehicle. So obviously you want to fill it up, and it'll show you on this actual oil level stick. If I get my camera to focus here, hold on. So to show you on this actual oil level stick, you can see it, L, and I think that it says L and F. So L stands for low, F stands for full, I'm assuming. Really, you just need it anywhere in between these two. If you have the oil, might as well try and top it off as much as possible, but it's not necessary. I try and get mine up to right there-ish, where my fingernail is, just for proper foliage, you know what I'm saying? So in order to fill up your vehicle with oil, you need a funnel. This funnel is a little wonky, but something like that, preferably something a little cut off and more down. Up next, you take your full can of oil, make sure your funnel's good, and pour it in there Be careful, because as you can see, mine's kind of gloping down there, which is a little annoying. But once you get some of it going, should be pretty easy to pour the rest in there. And for my vehicle, you need about 4 quarts. You could tell by yours in the owner manual. But you know, you also got to check on the dipstick, so that's the real way. You just make sure it's full. Make sure you don't overfill it either, because if you do, you're gonna have to redo this entire thing and you're just wasted like 30 bucks on oil and stuff. So, you know, be careful about it. I usually check a few times before I'm fully done, you know. So I've done about 3 quarts so far, so I'm gonna check my dipstick just to see where it's at right now. And as you can see on my dipstick, the new oil that's on there, if it could focus, the new oil is going right past the low line, so we're gonna need a little bit more. But we're making good progress with the oil pouring. So I just added a bunch more oil. I'm checking my oil dipstick again. It's getting up there. I'm gonna wipe it off just so I can have a perfectly clean one. So I just wiped off my oil dipstick so I can be perfectly clean, and I get the exact oil measurements, just exactly where it's at. All right, now I got pretty lucky. I almost overfilled it. So I don't know if you can see it, but it's pretty much right at the top of the fold line right there. That's good to go for now. And once you're done with that, just take your funnel out, shake it off inside the thing a little bit, just to get the rest off. And then put your stuff back together and clean up. As you can see, I spilled a little bit of oil on my vehicle, but that's fine. And just crank that on. And grab a rag, clean up any oil you spilled. Hopefully it's not that much. And you should be good to go. Now that your oil change is done, I would highly recommend starting your vehicle and just letting it idle for about five minutes-ish, just to get that new oil circulating through your vehicle, since you did drain your vehicle completely of oil. And then you should be good to go. If you're wondering what to do with your old oil, I have sitting around right here. First off, dump it all inside a canister to hold it. You could use the oil can that you purchased, although it should still have a little bit left in it, so I'd save it. I'm using an old one that I had for my previous oil change. Or you could use like 2 gallons of milk. It is 4 quarts, so it's a little bit. And then with your old oil filter, you take that and the old oil to any AutoZone parts dealer, or just any those auto parts, and they should take it for free. They'll want your old oil because they do sell it, they recycle it and resell it, so they should take it. Just drop it off with them and you should be good to go with your oil change. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and if you like the video, leave a like. I love interacting with you guys, so comments are nice. But if other than that, I hope you have a good day, and I hope this video helped.